And welcome back. Well, earlier in the newscast, we told you about the dwindling groundwater supply in Willcox. Well, now News 4 Tucson Shelley Jackson shares how some residents are trying to stop the draining of rural groundwater.
Under the 1980 Arizona Groundwater Code, areas with heavy reliance on groundwater, like Tucson, were designated active management areas. 82% of the state's population now lives within an AMA. In November, Willcox voters will decide the town's water future when they vote on creating an active management area.
Almost everybody recognizes the problem. I think that a lot of people are going to vote for the AMA simply because they don't have another option. They don't see another option, but there are other options.
I think the AMA needs to go in. It's not the fix, but it's what's needed to bring everything to a stop. And that's the first big thing that has to happen.
AMAs are monitored and managed by the Arizona Department of Water Resources. The AMA is not a limitation on the amount of groundwater that can be pumped. It's a limitation on bringing under cultivation new acres of land.
People that have 2 acres of land can still use water to irrigate crops for, say, like their animals or for personal use or for farmers markets. It's really intended to be aimed at stopping the expansion of big agriculture.
A goal and a plan would be created for the AMA if it's approved by voters. And not everyone is on board with that.
That is not formed until after you've voted to actually designate. And so in essence, you are voting for something you don't know what it's going to look like. And I'm not a fan of that kind of governance.
Rod Keeling of Keeling Schaefer Vineyards says the AMA won't stop Riverview from pumping the amount of water it currently does.
Biggest winner is Riverview Farms because they will be positioned to control the water in perpetuity. So what that means is the first thing they get is they get to keep pumping and watering their crops like they are now. The second thing is they get all their competitors eliminated. The new people competing for the water will be eliminated.
Keeling says the AMA will hurt the Arizona wine industry.
The big loser will be the Arizona wine industry. 80% of all the fruit grown made into Arizona wine is grown in the Willcox Basin. If it can't grow, Arizona wine industry will not grow.
Tom Bushotsky, director of the Arizona Department of Water Resources, can't address the election, but he tells News 4 Tucson they have seen groundwater levels rise in aquifers in existing AMAs.
Water levels rise in the AMAs because of various programs that attend to that AMA. We see the ability for more efficient water use to be a result of the regulatory requirements in AMAs that require reductions of groundwater over time.
Kissel says the AMA is needed to stop the expansion of industrial agriculture.
If we don't pass the AMA, I think we're going to see even more land being cleared and even more, even at a greater rate.
Locals worry it's already too late to stop companies like Riverview, who reportedly have some wells more than 1,000 feet deep.
There's nobody safe. The deepest pocket, deepest well is the only person safe, and that's them.
Now an AMA is also on the ballot in Douglas. From the studio, Shelley Jackson, News 4, Tucson.